What's up guys, Ray Lynch. We're here at D1 Sports. We're going to be working with some doctors today at physical therapy. They're going to show us the proper form for the snatch. This is what we're going over. Get your pencils ready. We're going over proper form, common mistakes, mobility activation, and potential injuries of the snatch. Okay, it's an Olympic movement. There's a mental switch between normal weightlifting and the Olympic movements. We're going to go over that in the proper form segment. You ready?
All right, taking you through the first pull of the snatch. Very important to note the height of the hips. You are going to be more bent over than a deadlift. You want tension to build in the hamstrings and the glute. Keep your cores tight. And entering the second pull of the snatch, maintaining tension to the hamstrings, you're going to push your hips into the bar. Maintain a bend in the knees. The most important part is being able to jump when the bar hits your pocket. Listen to the bar hit. That's the pocket. When completing the snatch, I'm going to take you through 3 positions you can use to train your hips to catch the bar lower and lower. The first one I just did, that is a power position. You catch above parallel. Second position, boom, hips right at parallel. You want to stay tight. You don't want to overextend the lumbar or your balance will be off. You'll also notice I'm not pressing the bar out overhead when I catch it. Boom, bar's locked out. There is no press. You're just stable. All you have to do is stand up. That's the snatch, guys. Common mistakes in the snatch: starting too upright and staying too upright. If you treat this like a deadlift, you will not get the proper force out of your legs required to get all the way under the bar. You'll notice I have to navigate the knee. It's not a straight bar path. You want a slightly curved bar path, but definitely not navigating the knee like that. Second common mistake is grip width. If you're too close, when you try to catch all the way down in a snatch, you will notice the bar wants to fall forward. That's because of the pec attachment over the shoulder. You need much more mobility to snatch like that. It's very difficult. Steve Urkel britches. Watch the lower back. That's bad. That's bad. Don't extend that. Keep the glutes engaged. Keep the core engaged. You won't take a step forward. You'll be much, much more stable when you receive the bar.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Lenny Jo Yarkin with SST Rehab at the D1 location, and my job is to talk to you about how to avoid those common mistakes that Ray showed you in the videos and how to optimize your form when you're doing these lifts. Proper form is crucial to prevent injuries, and it's my job and probably your coach's job to figure out why you can't hit that optimal form. Is it a mobility issue? Is it an activation issue? Or can your body do what it needs to do but has a motor control deficit? It's our job to figure that out, so definitely speak up and ask for advice. A lot of people have a mobility issue in the shoulders that limit proper form with the snatch. So Ray is going to show you how to stretch pec major and pec minor. We need to stretch both because if you have deficits in either or the other, it's going to affect your form. So to stretch pec minor, you're going to get into a doorway or between 2 bars. You're going to get into a 90-90 position like Ray is doing. You're going to slowly step forward until you feel a stretch in the front of the chest, maybe in the front of the shoulders. Guys, it's really important here that you don't extend in the lumbar spine. If you arch your back and you do this stretch, it's going to translate into your lift and you are going to be at risk for back injuries. And the other stretch you can do in this same position is one for the pec major. So you're going to extend the arms straight this time. Again, give a little stability to the lumbar spine. Don't arch the back. Slowly step forward. You should feel this a little bit different than the pec minor stretch, but it still should be a stretch in the front of the chest, maybe even in the front of the shoulders. Keep all the muscles in the upper back relaxed. You don't want those to tense up while you're doing this stretch. All right, guys, it's time to embrace your inner yogi. So you're gonna get into the start position of a snatch lift. You're gonna engage the core by sucking the belly button in a little bit and squeezing the glutes so you have a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt. From there, you should externally rotate the femurs. The knees are going to point out a little bit, and then maintaining all of that, lower down into a yogi squat position. Hands are going to come into a prayer stretch if you would like, because that would allow you to use the elbows to push the knees out, stretching not only the adductor muscles on the inner thigh, but also giving your hips a little bit more external rotation on both sides. Back is flat, core is slightly contracted to protect everything in this position. The final stretch that we're going to do is a seated piriformis and hip external rotation stretch. Ray is going to demonstrate that for you. First thing you want to do is sit up tall, guys. It's really important that you start in good position. Pick a leg. Nope, not that one. Sit up tall. Pick a leg, cross it over the other leg. Again, reset, sit up as tall as you can. From there, suck the belly button in a little bit. Take the right hand, push the knee down so we externally rotate the hip, keeping the back straight, lean forward until you feel a really good pull in the glute region. And hang out there. It'll transition from the mobility perspective to the activation perspective. If I'm still feeling tight in the shoulders, I'll get a resistance band. I will pull to the outside a little bit, keep my core tight, little bend in the knees, and then just come all the way up and over opening up the shoulder joints and all the way back. Again, it's really important that we don't arch here. Guys, you're gonna reinforce the bad and not work on the good. You will avoid that all day long if you don't activate the core and then test and treat shoulder mobility. And once you're sure that your shoulders are open and ready for action, come up into this overhead position, bring the arms out to the side a little bit, engage the core, posterior pelvic tilt. From there, sit your hips back, go low, sit it down, come back up. After you do about 5 of those, instead of sitting down, tap it out. And you want to focus on bringing the shoulder blades down and back. Another important point to make when we're talking about activation is the rotator cuff. A lot of us have rotator cuff weakness because most don't know to work it until you work with a physical therapist. But here's a really good way to strengthen in a 90-90 position, which is close to a functional position for a snatch. So you'll pull back into a high row position, you'll maintain that. Elbow stays at the same height, externally rotate, and then control back down. There's a couple different ways to do this. You can do it slow and controlled and rep it out like so, or you can work back quick and the eccentric, slow and controlled, back down. Our bodies have multiple degrees of freedom in a snatch, so in addition to working external rotation, you'll probably also want to work internal rotation in that same 90-90 position. Slow and controlled, or down fast and slowly control that eccentric phase. So if you are gonna end up in this position with a lot of weight overhead, you might as well be strong in it. So we are gonna use the body blade, which yes, might be the physical therapy version of a shake weight, but can also be really effective for building stability in lots of different ranges. So if you were here, I would turn the core on, slight bend in the knees, and then work those oscillations out in that functional range of a snatch. You're gonna wanna work both arms. Yes, it will be difficult on your non-dominant side, I promise. Side effects of improper snatch form may include the following: glenohumeral dislocation, rotator cuff tears, glenohumeral labral tear, Bankart lesion, Hill-Sachs deformity, cervical fracture, cranial contusion, dislocated elbow, ulnar collateral ligament rupture, medial or lateral epicondylitis, pectoralis rupture, lumbar sprain, lumbar strain, spinal disc herniations, spinal stress fractures, spondylolysis, spondylolisthesis, femoroacetabular impingement, degenerative labral fraying, patellofemoral pain syndrome, patellar tendinitis, iliotibial band syndrome, quad strain, hamstring strain, retrocalcaneal bursitis, and so much more. Please, if you or a loved one are suffering from any of these adverse side effects, please contact your coach or physical therapist.